District 833, security has become even more important in light of recent world events. Our goal has been to ensure that our district is safe for all students, employees, and volunteers, regardless of where they work in the district. We recently ran a full-scale exercise to improve our level of preparedness and readiness and responses in the event of the emergencies that might occur in a school district. I want to thank everyone who participated in that exercise. In particular, I want to note our grant writer, Jody Witt, who was able to secure the resources to help us run this exercise through a federal grant from the U.S. Department of Education.
South Washington County Schools received a federal Department of Education grant for almost $230,000 to conduct the activities outlined in this video. The funding allowed us to broaden and accelerate our emergency planning activities. If you would like to access this federal competitive grant program, we suggest that you do the following. 1, demonstrate strong support and involvement from your superintendent and other key staff. 2, clearly identify possible threats to your schools. 3, clearly and concisely define your emergency planning needs and address these needs throughout the proposal. 4, involve emergency responders, students, parents, staff, and other key partners in project activities. More information on this grant can be found on the Department of Education's website at ed.gov. In order to design a comprehensive exercise, the grant funding enabled us to hire Greg Orth, a retired public safety officer.
I'm the Emergency Project Manager for School District 833. My main projects were, 1, to create an emergency operations plan for the full school district. Number 2, I conducted training of staff and students related to the emergency plan. 3rd, I conducted 2 full-scale emergency exercises. And 4th, immediately after the exercises, I conducted a debriefing, and 2 weeks later set up and created an evaluation meeting for all the participants. The purposes of the exercises were: test District 833 Emergency Operations Plan, evaluate the interaction of all district, county, city, and volunteer agencies, simulate a large-scale emergency incident at 2 schools, revise the emergency plan for the whole school district based on the results of the exercises, and test local emergency operations. The goals of the emergency exercises were: activate and test the school district's central office incident command center, activate and test individual schools' incident command center, test school attendance procedures at all schools, test lockdown procedures at all schools, test evacuation procedures, test communications throughout the exercises, test the coordination between school district and public safety agencies, activate and test an emergency field office, test the care and transportation of injured students, evaluate and critique the exercises. The purpose of emergency services agencies were: test response to multi-hazard incidents at school settings, to establish and operate an incident command system, and test the interaction of all county, city, and volunteer agencies with our school district. The goals for emergency services agencies were: activate and test the incident command system, secure campuses by closing entrances and escorting students to a staged site, conduct a search and rescue operation, coordinate all resources by establishing a command system, and safely evacuate students and transport injured to hospitals. The staff, students, and parents were informed of the exercise. Parents were allowed to keep their children home if they felt the exercise would cause distress. Students and parents were recruited to participate in the exercise as worried parents or injured or missing students. These participants were issued yellow vests to wear. Others involved were 7 safety officers to monitor the exercises and ensure they were done safely. 7 controllers to keep within the scope of the designed emergency exercise. 9 evaluators to evaluate all participants involved in the exercise. District 833 has developed emergency response plans, conducted training and tabletop exercises with the site emergency response teams, CERT, and supplied each school with emergency response vests and equipment. The crisis kits at each school included CERT vests, walkie-talkies, student attendance forms, student release forms, first aid supplies, school maps, and school building keys. The district and community agencies conducted tabletop orientation 2 days prior to the drill. We go now to a report from student Steve McCune, who is on the scene.
Hi, my name is Steve McCune, and I'm a senior at Woodbury High School. Today we are videotaping a disaster drill at Bailey Elementary in Woodbury, Minnesota. It is the morning of October 20th, 2004. It is 9:25 a.m. as a mock hazardous chemical is inserted into the Bailey School airflow system. A strange odor, smelling similar to cinnamon, is detected at Bailey Elementary. Several students go to the nurse's office.
Curtis, I know you. What's wrong?
My head hurts, I feel sick.
And nothing was weird. And Jim, you guys were just running and doing the normal stuff. Okay. How about, and what's your name? Keegan. How about you? What's wrong with you?
I think I'm gonna throw up.
Okay. Do you want to lay down? Why don't you lay down so you don't get too sick? Sometimes that helps. And there's a bucket right here if you need to use that, okay?
The principal and her staff meet and decide to call superintendent and 911.
Hi, is this John Duff? Janet Noel calling from Bailey. We have 8 kids in the office that are sick. There's a funny smell in the building. I think we're going to evacuate. Can you get someone up here right away?
Okay. Is that because the lady in lockdown?
Okay.
Bill should shut down the air handlers. I'll get him that message. Thanks. Okay, bye.
Okay. I'll call 911.
Yeah, I think we better call 911. I'm going to call John Regan.
Have a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Janet to Bill. District says shut down the air handlers. Go ahead and start. Do the new wing first. That's where the smell is.
Hello, this is an emergency drill, not a real
Got it.
emergency. A hazardous chemical smell has been placed in our school.
They decide to evacuate the building. A number of students begin to feel ill.
What's up with all you guys?
We saw something weird. Yeah.
You smell something weird?
The school evacuation has started and we'll go to New Life Academy. At 9:33 a.m., police, fire, and ambulance arrive. At 9:45 a.m., a phone call is received at the district center. The caller states he has placed poison chemicals into the heating system. This is conveyed to the police officers on the scene and the district superintendent. The superintendent orders all schools to implement their lockdowns, check the heating system, and secure the building. The students and teachers playing the victims are now taken to Woodwinds Hospital.
We're going to be taking them to Woodbury.
Where are the injured victims right now? The injured victims are over there, but we can't go by them because we fear that they've been contaminated.
But it's your daughter. It's my daughter.
At 10:15 to 11 o'clock a.m., fire and school officials determined that the source of the odor is non-hazardous. Primary students return to the building first, followed by 3rd through 6th grade students. Then a bus goes to New Life and returns the 5th graders. A bus goes to Woodwinds to return the injured students. At 11 a.m., Bailey resumes normal school schedule with one difference. We're all better prepared. It is the afternoon of October 20th, 2004 at Woodbury Senior High School in Woodbury, Minnesota. At 12:30 p.m., the interior of the high school building was prepared. Volunteer students and teacher who acted as victims entered the cafeteria. At 12:35 p.m., one former student and 2 friends, acting as intruders, enter Woodbury High School cafeteria. This former student has a mock firearm and shoots one student and a teacher, injuring them. The remaining students start running out of the cafeteria. 4 other students are shot. Students report the incident to the CERT School Emergency Response Team in the main office. The school immediately announces lockdown procedures through the PA, then calls 911 and the district service center to notify the superintendent.
This is an emergency drill. There's been a shooting at Woodbury High School. We need police and EMS personnel to evacuate our students who are in a lockdown and take the shot students and teacher to the hospital. The shootings occurred in the cafeteria, and it appears the shooter and 2 accomplices are still in the school. Additional information will be reported as the office becomes aware of the additional details. Hi, Mary. This is Nancy Anderson at Woodbury High School. Can I please speak to Dr. Regan? We have a shooting reported in our building. Yes, Dr. Regan. Woodbury High School is in a lockdown. We have called the police and the EMS personnel to evacuate. Yes, there's reported of 2 shooters and 2 accomplices in our school. Yes, transportation will be notified. Yes, we need the buses.
At 12:39 p.m., the initial responding police officer met with a CERT member outside to assess the situation. 5 of the first police officers responding entered as an active shooter response team. Other officers monitored school exit locations. One of the first officers was the incident commander for the onset of the scenario until a higher-ranking police official arrived. Supporting police units were directed to cover the exterior of the building.
We got one down to the right, one on the right, one down to the left, one on the left. Where's the shooter at? Where's he at?
The school resource officer monitored the school video system to try to locate the suspect. Security to the campus was established. Media personnel arrived and were referred to the district PIO, Public Information Officer. Parents started to arrive and were directed to the football field, where the students would be evacuated to. At 12:50 p.m., the Washington County Emergency Command Trailer arrived and was set up as the incident command post. The Woodbury High School principal went to the trailer to implement Unified Command. The Special Response Team, or SWAT, arrived and entered the building, as well as covered the exterior. The 5 injured students and teacher were removed from the cafeteria, treated by police, paramedics, and then taken by ambulances to Woodwinds Hospital. The District Service Center and staff in the football fields were advised of the downed students and teacher so they could advise parents to go to Woodwinds Hospital. At 1:05 p.m., the SRT group located the suspect and 2 supporters and removed them from the school unharmed. They gave security and evacuation of all students and staff from the building to the football field as other SRT and police searched the school for any other intruders or shooters. School buses arrived to take 150 students from the scene to an evacuation shelter to test that process. At 1:20 p.m., school evacuation is completed. Counselors and Red Cross personnel assist with students and parents with mental distress. District Service Center Superintendent was notified the emergency was almost over. He replied he would come to the school to work with the administrator and staff. At 1:25 p.m., SRT advised school personnel that students and staff could return to the school. Woodbury resumed a normal dismissal with one difference. We are all better prepared.
After the exercise, a debriefing was conducted. The discussions were, how do you feel the exercises transpired? What errors occurred? What changes to the emergency plan should we make based on the exercise? Any changes in future exercises? And what training should we develop? The main things we learned from the exercise were there was good cooperation, interaction between school personnel and emergency response agencies. There is a need to improve school security during lockdowns and evacuations. School communication systems will need some changes and upgrades, as well as the District Service Center, where the superintendent is the full incident commander. All participants were very pleased with the whole exercise and their involvement. They are anxious for more drills in the future that will include different schools and different emergencies. As project manager, I was very impressed by District 833 students' interests and behavior during the exercises. They brought maturity and sincerity to the project, and we all learned more because of it.
Leading with more news. This is 5 Eyewitness News at 5.
In this day and age, a school shooting or a terrorist attack is not totally out of the question. That's why today the South Washington County School District prepared for a worst-case scenario. It was a drill, but everyone knows it's the reality we face now.
A cinnamon scent sprayed into the air exchange at Bailey Elementary gets the ball rolling. It's all meant to mock a terrorist chemical attack on the school. Immediately, kids are evacuated. Emergency personnel rush to the scene. It's all part of the drill.
Funny odor in the building, so we've evacuated. Now we have 20 kids that are sick.
What school do you go to? Bailey. Okay.
The fire department sets up a decontamination area. It all seems so real.
But we'll find out anything else went wrong, what went right, and we'll go from there.
Patty Dress believes this is an important exercise.
I wanted my kids to be here. I wanted them to know what to do to be safe, to stay with their teachers.
Jeanette McElvey, on the other hand, is the parent of a kindergartner who didn't take part, one of 55 Bailey students who got an excused absence.
I just felt that it was too much of a reality, too real for a 5-year-old or any of the kindergartners.
A few hours later, guns are drawn outside of Woodbury High School. A mock shooter is on the loose. There are students injured. One more realistic drill for the district, a way to execute their emergency plan and test it out.
Now, the drill was paid for by a federal grant. District officials overall say they're pleased with the way everything went today. They're going to work to fine-tune the response system, including improving communication.